Hi everyone. I hope you all are doing well. Uh, Today's agenda for this recording is to let everyone know how you can configure your Kubernetes master and the worker node in simple steps. Uh, for this configuration and this setup, we will be using the Oracle VirtualBox, where we will be having two virtual machines. One is for Kubernetes master and one is for the worker node. So if you follow on my screen, so I have provisioned these two machines. One is for the Kubernetes master and one is for the worker node. And these are completely two new brand virtual machines. So we will be configuring it from the scratch. So without further delay, let's get started. So we will power on both the machines together and then we will start configuring these machines, followed by the making one of the node to the worker and another to the master. So, so as you see the naming of the machines, the virtual machines, I have already done it. Like this will be our Kubernetes master, and this will be our the Kubernetes worker node. So let's configure these two machines. And similarly, we can log in here. So first of all, let's rename these machines to. I'll be using as cubemaster.example.com. I'll provide my ID password. And for other node, I'll use the worker 01. So yeah, let's set the name here, sudo hostname ctl set hyphen hostname to worker1.example.com. And let's also make the host entry and configure one of the interface to the static. Since these machines has two network card, card, one is for the internet, another for the static IP address for internal communications. Same with this machine. So let's configure the host file in both the machines. So here we can remove all those unnecessary entries. And let's go to 56.50 cubemaster.example.com and cube master. Save it. Same goes with this one. I'll be using 192.168.50.6.61 for this node, worker1.example.com and worker1. And last but not least, let's configure the network interface. So we need to use sudo here. And let's edit this one. But even let's do one thing. Let's take the IP address of these machines and use the terminal. That will be a little bit more visible and more fast. So here my terminal is. I hope you can see it very well. That won't be bit font. Yeah, it should be okay. So we will SSH to this machine 1.17. Yeah. So here we will edit the, yeah. So here the interface 8 is for the internet as per the current configuration. We can also take a look here. We can go to the settings and we can see here. Now, my first interface is for the internet, other is for the internal communication. So interface 8 will be for the internet, and other interface will be for the other interface will be for the internet communication. So we can make it true, but we need the internet on this machine through this interface. So let's configure the routes to default, and we want it to travel through 192.168.1.1, and we can also set the metrics. You can also set the metrics so that it will override. It will be the primary gateway to start communicating to the internet. And let's configure the addresses. Its address is 192.168.50.56.50.34, and routes will be 2.168.56.0, my subnet, and it should go to 56.1, my gateway, and metric will be 101. So meanwhile, we can reboot this machine, and let's configure the other machine by the time. Its IP address is 18, so SSH 18. Yeah. So we want the same thing here. We also want the internet on this machine too, so that we can install all the software and it can communicate further for downloading images and everything. So since we have the same settings, so we will use all the same configuration here. So addresses, it will go to 192.168.50.61/24, and routes will be the same thing, the same subnet 56.0/24, and it should go via 192.168.56.1, and the metric should be 101. So let's reboot these two. So now my original machine should be SSHable to my configured IP address. Yes. So guys, this is our worker node is ready with all the configuration, and we will also make an entry to vice versa in our Kubernetes master to the worker node so that it can resolve the DNS automatically. So let's do it without, like, maybe we can forget it later. So IP address is 61, worker 1, and worker 1. So To install the Kubernetes master, the easiest way is to refer the Kubernetes documentation, where we will see most of the steps, and it is very easily defined on Kubernetes documentation. So we will refer those documentation. I'll guide you in this very simple way, so you will not face any challenge in if you following my steps. So on the Kubernetes documentation page on the Google, you just look for the Kubernetes documentation and open the first link. And if you a little bit scroll down, you see the setup, learn how to use Kubernetes. And below that, we will also see set up a K8s cluster. So we will use this link, install the Kubernetes setup tool, and we will configure this Kubernetes using this. So I'll be installing Kubernetes 1.33 version, so that in next video I will show you how you can upgrade it to the other the latest version. So click on the version 1.33, or you see that the latest version also downloaded or already released by the Kubernetes. So that is also good for us for to refer the upgrades, and again it will be very easy to upgrade the Kubernetes. I'll show you in my next videos. So to install the Kubernetes, let's little bit scroll down. So these are the prerequisites where you should have like 2 gig of minimum RAM, 2 CPUs, compatible Linux host, MAC addresses, right? So the basic checks, the kernel dependency, the kernel version, right? So using these commands, you can see like IP link. You can get the MAC address using this command like IP link. You can get the MAC address of the interface since we are using the EMP07 interface for this internet communication. So this is our MAC address here. And this is for the other interface which is used for the internet, right? So the basic prerequisites for Kubernetes is you should not have this swap on. If you have this swap on, please you can just disable this swap, or you can just switch off the swap partition. And if you can also verify, not to FS tab, you can also verify if there is any partition, you can just comment it out that partition. So since my VM is not having any swap machine, swap partition, I'm good with that. If you scroll down, the other requirement for you might already know that the support for Docker is limited with Kubernetes now, and they already came up with the new container runtime CRI container runtime interface that is container D. So we will be using container D for the containers and Kubernetes 1.33 version for the container orchestrations. So we will not install Kubernetes container runtime right now, but we can just little bit scroll down, and there we go. So here you see like installing kube ADM, kubelet, and kubectl. So under this page, you will see how you can install the prerequisites. So based on the distributions, you can select one. So we will, since we are using Debian based distribution, so we are at the right place right now. So the first step is to download the first step. Let's upgrade it. So it says like upgrade the apt package index and install. So we will run this command. If there is any package which needs require update, and let's SSH to the worker node as well, so that parallelly we can run the commands. Seems like there's some issue. So let's log in and see what's going on. So I did we misconfigure something. You can quickly take a look. Every configuration looks good to me, but still let's take a look at the FTP addresses. Right to configuration looks good to me. That I'm not able to ping this IP address. What is happening? That is not good. Hmm. Seems like some issue, so let's reboot it again. Let's see. It should be quickly. Okay, by the time it's come up, let's move to our next step. I wanted to follow all these steps together since these are the basic steps which required to follow on each and every node. So seems like something will work on, but we'll see it once we are done with Kubernetes master. Okay, is it now showing some kind of issues? Anyways, so let's go to the second step where we will be downloading the public signing the package repositories. So we will download the certificates, the GPG keys to sign the certificates. And to the next step, the appropriate Kubernetes APT repositories we are going to add using this link. So it's going to update our source list for Kubernetes repositories. So now the most of the steps are done. So it's very easy now. So let's run the apt update again to upgrade the packages, if any, after adding the new repository. But since no new packages, so now we can install uh, the required packages for Kubernetes, ETL, Kubelet, ATM, and kubectl. And let's mark the upgrade hold so that does not upgrade automatically. And we can enable the kubelet services, like if our VM get reboot, so the service will be enabled by default. Oh, so that means there is some inconsistency in the file. That is the reason it's not coming up. And it says that interface EO. Yeah. Okay, so it seems like indentation is somehow, no, indentation looks good. Oh, there you go. So we need to have some space here. That's the issue. So it should be done now. It should be good. It worked fine. And now to take another reboot, I think this time it should come out cleanly. Okay, so since we have installed the basic requirement on the virtual machines, now the configuration of the C group drivers. That is strange. Still, it did not come up. That is strange. Oh, it came up. So nice. So let's SSH here and follow all the steps together. So first, let's update the host file so that it can be resolved automatically. Nice. So Let's follow these steps again so that we don't need to follow it again. So let's quickly do it on worker node as well. So we can even minimize this one. We don't require it now. We can minimize this one and we can make it a little bit short. Yeah, should be good. And let's run the let's download the public signing key for Kubernetes packages. And next, let's add the appropriate repositories for this node as well, right? And now let's update the packages. And let's install everything on these machines as well. The kubelet is a service for the communication. The kubeadm is for the uh, configuring the cluster, and kubectl is the utility you need to interact with the Kubernetes master node. So now let's also enable the kubelet on the worker node. So we are good with the steps now. I think we are following all the same steps. Now C group. So so how to configure this C group? Basically, there could be two type of C group. One is C group FS and one is system D. So C group basically are used to constrain resources that are allocated to the processes. So depending on what is running on the system, we need to configure the C group file system drivers or the configuration file. So to identify, we can use like which one is running in our system. So if you see that system D driver is running in our systems, so in that case, we don't need to make any change in this one. If somehow system D is not running here, so that means we might have to configure the C group FS driver. So for this, we are completely fine. Let's move to the next step. Uh, so what next? So we will be creating the cluster here. So creating a cluster using kubeadm. So this is the main command to configure the cluster, and we will be configuring this cluster command and running this command only on the master node, not on the worker node, right? And yeah, so let's do here. And you know that we have not installed any containerization or container tool like Docker or container D here. So first, before running the cluster or the kubeadm cluster initiation command, we need to install the container runtime. So let's do the container runtime before we forget and miss anything. So once you click here, container runtime here, it will land you on this page, container runtime, and we will be using container D for this configuration. So this section outlined the necessary steps for container DS CRR runtime. Okay, so since we will be using the apt package to install the container D, we don't need to use the binaries or the other way to install the container D. So we will just run the apt install container D on both the servers. Now container D is installed. If you see, yes, container D is installed. But do you know, since we are using the system D group system D driver, so we need to follow a couple of more steps to make it compatible with the C group. So here here you see that configuring the system D C group driver. So basically, we need to create these directories. This directory might not exist already. Yeah, it does not exist. So we need to create this directory here. Yeah, on both machines. And now we need to configure, we need to create this file as well. So basically, we need, so also just verify the container D version. So you see that we are using container with like 2.2 version, right? So we need to also make this plugin to true. By default, it will be false. So we need to make, so to conclude this or to achieve this configuration, we have a very simple and very good command, the default command coming with container D config default. So this is containing all the configuration, necessary configuration to smoothly run the container D. So what we will do, we will we will redirect this output to the etc container and this file. Come on. So if you see that, so this configuration has been created. Now let's run the same command on the worker node. Now we have to, since we need to make the system group true, so what we will do, we will manually edit this file, etc container config.pym, and let's go down, just scroll down until you see the system group as false. Or the easiest way is to just find out. Yeah, there you go. So, oh, so here we find out and we need to make it true. That's simple. And same thing we can do on our worker node. So just let's look for if there is no other system group. System C group. What I want. Oh, system D C group. So you see true now, and then the same command here. Yeah. So we are good with this tab. Our container D is configured, and let's do the, once we can run the container, we can just restart the container D service. And now our containerization container is configured, and let's go back to the configure uh, the cluster. To configure the Kubernetes master, we will be using the kubeadm init command, but we know we need to pass some more parameter, and we are running this command only on the Kubernetes master node. And so there are few parameter we need to pass with this command. One is like the API advertise address. So API server advertise address. So this parameter can be used to advertise the particular container plane so that this will be the master which is going to run on 6443 number of port. So we need to advertise this IP address so that worker node can easily find out our master node and join the cluster. So in these cases, we will be using the our Kubernetes master IP address, and alongside with we also need to pass another parameter that's called port network CIDR. So this port network CIDR belongs to the containers which they will get the IP address automatically from this CIDR. And we will not be using the control plane address point. Basically, this is required for the high availability when you have few multiple master nodes and you want to make establish the communication between those master nodes. That's where you need to provide the control plane endpoint. Otherwise, for a single master node cluster, such as in our case, you just need to use this. We can just ignore this. Basically, we ignore this particular argument. So we will be using the 10.240.0/16 CITR, and we will also like is to upload the certificates automatically rather than we do it manually. So once you have these options, you have once this you have all this configuration, just press enter, and it says like parameter because we missed the sudo, and let's try it again. Now it says, so that's a very good error it claims. Like it says IP address, the forwarding, the port forwarding is not there. IP address we for port forwarding, right? So in that case, we can quickly edit our cctl.conf file and we can just look for the IP address, the port forwarding for, yes, v4, and comment this one and cctl-p to load it. And just rerun. I hope this time it should go through. And meanwhile, let's do here as well. I think they should be done in they should be done at the first step. I think we missed it, but that's okay. That's how you learn it. Even I have one more setting. I'm sure you might not know because during this configuration, this is going to fail. I'm sure not for cluster configuration, but communication with the APIs. So this is going to fail, but I'll tell you what is missing over there, and you will learn something new. So now you see that cluster configuration is done. So let's make a note of this one so that we can use it later. There we go. So now we also need to configure this step to so because these steps are required to make our kubectl work. Otherwise, kubectl will work only within root user. So you always need to pass the sudo. But for this case, to make the kubectl work for non-root users, so we need to follow these steps and just copy and paste, and then you are done. So now if we run kubectl get nodes, so it says not ready. That's a good sign. Not ready, you might not know why it is in not ready state because we just configured the Kubernetes master, but we have not applied the network add-ons, the network configuration, how it will be communicating with other worker node, what network, right? So we need to add a network plugin. For that, you can do one thing. You can just scroll down a little bit and so here you can use the installing add-on network add-ons. So here you will see the networking and network policies, whatever the one you want to apply. So you need to just ensure that you need to verify the subnet mask which you have passed while initializing your cluster with the hyphen port CIGR. So you should have that subnet matching with this add-on. So for this configuration, I'll be using Flannel. So click on Flannel. It will take you on the GitHub repository of the Flannel, and it is very, very easy to configure the network for this one. So what we will do, we will just copy this link for the Flannel, and we will download the Flannel configuration. Why we download it? We just want to verify that yes, it has the same subnet which we are looking for, or we need to make edits, some kind of edits. So scroll down a little bit, and you will see. There you go. So I think in our case we are good, I believe. Yes. So we configured the same subnet mask. So let's apply the configuration. Kubectl apply -f cube planner YAML. So now it's been created, and I hope everything is good. So let's watch this one until it make it the state ready, and we'll see it shortly. Yes. So you see now it's become ready. So this cluster is ready with all the prerequisites and the required port for the for this virtual machine act as a Kubernetes master, and we can also take a look to all the ports in all namespace. So now the error which I was talking about a little bit earlier, that you will see the kubeflanel is crashing or is erroring out again and again. And if you see the logs of this, so kubectl logs, the port name and the namespace, you will see that it's something is missing. One is like the BR net filter, basically. So we need this particular module is missing in this case. So we can do for the mod probe and this module name. And after loading this module name, we should see all the containers running shortly. Or maybe we can just delete this. Yeah. Now you'll see that without deleting it's in running state, and you will see these two shortly into the running state. Yeah, see this? Now our cluster is fully configured up and running. All the pods are in running state. So you ensure that you load this BR net filter module, and to load it automatically, always automatically, you can go to module load, and you can hear, or maybe I can tell you that you can create a file here with name of your choice, like K8 configuration, right? Or just take a look here if it has some kind of configuration. I saw it somewhere. Okay. Yeah. So it says this is a prerequisite. This channel requires the BR net filter module to start from this one. Check if this module is installed or not. Right. So is it on package for this one? No. I think contract. I think this is the package which provides this tool, this particular uh, module. Correct. So now we will configure uh, the worker node. We will join the worker node. So here, as I was telling you, so basically, if you are not sure that is it going to work, or every time you need to run this mod prod command. So better you create it under module load module uh, modules hyphen load dot d, I believe, and that's where you can create another file k8 with name of your choice. This is not mandatory that you use this file only, but I'll use this one. So k8s.1, and you can just mention the name here. That's it. Now, whenever you will reboot this master node, you will always see that this module is loaded automatically. So yeah, so we are good. Let's quickly join the worker node, get nodes, so we can watch. And now let we make a note of the command how to join it to the worker node. So with the token, so this was the command. We just need to copy and paste this command. That's okay. Sorry. Yeah, there you go. And you see that as soon as we join this node, you see this worker node popped up here, and you will see shortly in a few seconds that it is also in the ready state. And once it is in ready state, then we will also try to just run a nginx pod, and to ensure that our cluster and the worker and everything, uh, all the parameters, all the configurations, everything is good. So now you see everything is good now. Worker and master, everything is ready. So let's see. kubectl run nginx hyphen image and nginx. Sorry, my bad. And hyphen open nginx. So it says port created. And now if you go back and run kubectl get ports command, you will see container it is creating the container. Is it internet running on this node? Yeah. So seems like some issues while it's fetching the image, but let's see if that works. Otherwise, we can take a okay. Also, I wanted to see where it is landing. So it is landing on the worker node. So somehow our cluster is working fine. It's trying to create the nginx. So it could be any reason of this one. So we can just quickly verify what's happening here. Oops, sorry. It says it's waiting. Why it's waiting now? Okay. Failed to set up network for sandbox. Plug type. Failed to load flannel sub environment. Okay. It's still showing some kind of flannel error, but ideally it should not have because our okay. Oh, it's because we did not run the mod probe here. Mod probe here. net filter. So the channel should be good on the as well now. Let's give it a few more seconds. Let's continue, but otherwise we will delete this one and we'll see if that works. Or we can just delete for nginx. Let's delete this too. Delete this one, and my bad, delete code. So, so it says port initialization is running now. So now let's run the kubectl run nginx. This time it should work. I hope so. Yeah. So you see that our code is the code is in running state, and it is landed on worker node 0, 0, 1. So yes, so our cluster setup is very good. So guys, with this troubleshooting, you might understand that you might face some challenge regarding to some modules. So where you can just go back and check the logs of the crashed container, and you can get the idea what you need to load or what file you need to create. So this is a good starting point to learn all this. Thank you so much. I hope I was able to make a very informative video how you can configure the cluster alongside with one of the worker node, and in very easy and precise way by referring the Kubernetes documentation, everything. Still, if you have any question, feel free to comment in the in the uh, in the video or in the comment section, and I'll try my best to get back to you. Thank you so much.